when you know I'm feeling good. I got ya, brought him back to my hood. They don't tell you when you're done how fun it is to get lost. Never forget your place. Try to look up cause the answers are in your face. Never forget to pray. I pray to my God and my mom cause they're both the same. I pray for my homies. I pray for the girls that feel lonely. I pray for you, for me, for everything that's ever come my way. You know at night I pray. You know at night I pray for you. You know I pray for you. You know I pray for you. I'm feeling blue, you know I'm in that mood. Open my 40 on the avenue.
We'll give it
They don't tell you
about
when you're
1 more minute and then we'll get started.
How much it sucks to be I'm feeling big, you know I'm feeling strong. I got ya. He knows all my
And while folks are streaming in, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat, say where you are in the world right now, maybe how you're feeling in your body today.
Never forget your place. Try to look up cause the answers are in your face. Never forget to pray. I pray to my God and my mom cause they're both the same. I pray for my homies. I pray for the girls that feel lonely. I pray for you, for me, for everything that's ever come my way. You know at night I pray. You know at night I pray for you. You know I pray for you. You know I pray for you.
Awesome. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Cornelius. I am an LPCC. I'm coming to you from Colorado Springs, so I'm loving to seeing all the Colorado folks here in the chat, and welcome to everyone who's far and wide who is joining us today. I have the beautiful pleasure of opening up this space and talking about self-care and the ways that we can sustain ourselves within this work. So today we're going to be talking about big things, race, equity, inclusion, here in this event, as well as outside in our own communities. And so I'm going to be here to talk about ways that we can promote self-care, and we'll be doing a self-care activity today together to get you prepared to start the day and really feel authentic in yourselves and your energy so that you can fully take in all of the incredible sessions that are coming up for you today. So by trade, I'm an LPCC. I am a professional poet as well, and I believe that language and art truly are healing and powerful. And so this is my favorite thing to do, is to talk about self-care. And so the reason that we need to take care of ourselves, and this is my big one, is we have to stay alive to see the revolution. Right, that is my big push, is that we are all out here doing different work, activating social change in whatever ways that we see fit, and we've got to make it to see this come out. We know this with previous leaders in multiple activist circles. Many people struggle with mental health. Many people struggle with physical health, and so we've really got to take care of ourselves so we can continue this work and get going and get pushing and stay around to make sure that this comes to fruition. So this is so deeply important. And when we talk about self-care, we often think about a pedicure or a manicure. It's often very like capitalist things. And so today we're really just going to be focusing on your very basic needs. So we're going to go over food, water, sleep, and boundaries. That's what we're going to be talking about in terms of self-care. So first off is food, making sure that you have fuel in your body. And as I say things, these are a reminder to make sure you eat some breakfast, eat a smoothie, get something in your body to fuel you. So I am that girl who drinks an iced coffee and eats nothing else the rest of the day, which is not good. And so making sure that what we put in our bodies is fueling us and making us sustainable for the rest of the day. Oh yeah, no problem. In the chat, so an LPCC is a licensed professional counselor candidate. So my master's is in international disaster psychology. And so I am getting my hours to become a licensed professional counselor or a therapist. And yes, someone is eating oatmeal right now. Perfect. So the things that we put in our body are going to give us fuel to put us back. And that is deep intentional self-care, right? Is figuring out what we can use to fuel our bodies and make us feel good, and eating the things that make us happy, right? As we are fueling our bodies and giving us nutrition, also doing things that make us feel good and make us feel happy that we're here. Next is drinking water. If everyone needs this lesson, drink more water. That is such a beautiful aspect of self-care. We do not drink enough water. Put it in your bodies. If you don't have a water bottle with you throughout this day, please grab one. Make sure that you can always put that in you. And sleep and naps. One of my favorite groups is called the Nap Ministry. That's really promoting that as we are doing this activist work, as we are making social change, we get to rest. We need to take naps, we need to sleep. And that is so much of revolution, right? Of just like giving our bodies moments to heal. So much stuff happens when we sleep, right? We're integrating trauma, we're resting our bodies, we're getting ready for the next day. And so being able to just take a nap, take a moment, even if it's 5-15 minutes in your day, where you can just rest and relax. Such deep intentional self-care. And then boundaries. This is maybe my favorite one that I too am learning as I grow, is that your boundaries, knowing them and honoring your boundaries, are extreme self-care, right? So where we put our energy, I like to say we vote with our energy, right? We can vote with our dollar, we can vote in elections, but we can also vote with our energy, right? So like, where am I putting my energy? Who am I focusing on? Where am I putting my body? All of you have decided to vote with your energy to be in this space this morning. So congratulations and thank you for doing that. But we get to figure out, what are our boundaries, right? What are we willing to do? What are we not willing to do? What do we need to step back from? And honoring them. I think that's the biggest part, is a lot of us know what we don't and don't want to do. And sometimes we feel that in our guts, right? We have this like mind-body connection of, I don't know how I feel. And the self-care comes in when we honor it and respect it. And yeah, in the chat, I'm saying, just saying no. Oh, what a deep and powerful thing to know you don't want to do something and say no and have that respected. And so as we go through this day, really thinking about, what do you want to do? What are your boundaries? How can you put your energy in a way that is revitalizing and refreshing and powerful for you? Now, the thing that gets confused is boundaries and being uncomfortable. You may be uncomfortable during some of these sessions. There may be some discomfort, and that's totally normal, right? When we're talking about these deep, historical, foundational, systemic, institutional issues, it's difficult and it's uncomfortable. And so really understanding where you can be uncomfortable and have that discomfort, and then when you need to put those boundaries up to protect yourself. Because I think that is one way that we can continue to care for ourselves deeply and truly. So within therapy, there's this metaphor, I'm sure many people have heard of it before, is the put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on your child, like when you're flying in an airplane, as a way to talk about self-care. That's not my favorite metaphor. I am terrified of flying, so it already gives me a lot of anxiety. So what I like to think about is our cups being full, right? I'm sure that many of us pour into other people. We're teachers, we're caregivers, we love our families, even our pets, but we want to pour into them. And so we have to have our cup full, right, in order to pour into other people. And if we keep pouring and pouring and pouring, but we're not filling ourselves up, people aren't getting the best of us, right? They're not getting our full, authentic selves. So when we think about self-care, really think about filling yourself up filling up all the ways in which you can then give back, because it does pour into your community, it pours into your family, it pours into every single thing that you do. And so really recognizing the deep intentionality of eating a bowl of oatmeal, of taking a sip of water, of taking a nap, of setting boundaries and saying no. I think those are kind of my favorite ways to think about self-care, especially in these movements, and especially when we think about social justice and activism. We are physically seeing such intense images, right? We're seeing people being brutalized and hurt. We are hearing these things. And so as we hear that and take that in, our bodies store trauma, like physically. So if you think about, okay, I saw something super traumatic, we're seeing it, we're thinking about it, probably we're having some reactions, but it like gets stored in our bodies, especially in our hips. This is one place where trauma rests a lot. And so as we talk about food, water, sleep, and boundaries, we also have to like move our bodies, right? And so I know that I can't see all of you, but wherever it is that you are, I want you to just move your body. It can be wiggling your toes, it can be moving your fingers to whatever ability you have, but also just start to move your bodies. Sometimes we often qualify this as I need to exercise, I need to do cardio, I need to do something big. When my favorite thing to do is just these deep breathing exercises, which I'll show you right now, where you take a deep breath in and go up and out, back to center, and you do that for each direction. In, out, back to center, in, out, back to center, and then one last one, in, and out, back to center. So even these really small movements is like helping to release the things that are in our bodies. I'm seeing in the chats, yes, taking walks, being outside, moving your hips, massages, all of these things are stimulating self-care. And a lot of them are actively available to you. And the other thing that I want to share is our breath. Our breath is always available to us, and it's so magical. Like, breathing is beautiful for a variety of reasons. But because of our parasympathetic nervous system, when we start to take 3 deep breaths, so deep in and out, 3 of those, it automatically calms our bodies down, right? Even if we're like, I'm hype, I'm ready, I just want to be like up, taking those breaths is going to start to calm our bodies down. So just taking those 3 deep breaths will automatically help you calm down, help you kind of chill out, and provide that self-care. Because self-care is really hard to do when you're stressed or when you're activated. It's so hard if you're in it to think, you know what, I need to drink water, I need to go lay down. Like, that's not how our bodies work. And so taking the process of taking 3 breaths, calming down, and then really thinking about what you can do. I also suggest making a list of self-care activities. So if that's eat oatmeal in the morning, drink water, take a nap, make sure to take time to like pet my dog, whatever it is, when we're in an activation phase, right? Whether it's we're doing activist work, whether we're in these sessions where we're not really able to process, it's so hard to think of those things. So when you're in a really positive, good, calm space, write down all of your self-care things and have that by your bedside. Have that in your bathroom, so when you need it most, it's already there. And you can just look and figure out what it is that you want to do. So I am going to be doing a self-care activity with you all, but before we do that, we have to do one thing, which is we need to figure out what your affirmation is. And so an affirmation or a mantra is a word or a phrase that you can say typically over and over again as a place of like healing, of support, of affirmation or validation. So as I'm talking, I want you all to start thinking, what is your affirmation for today? Within a yoga practice, what is the intention that you want to set? What do you want to get out of today? What do you want to feel at the end of this? My affirmation that I use all the time is I am enough. And the way I came about that is I typically think I'm not enough. I have a lot of self-doubt and a lot of, not good enough thoughts or imposter syndrome. So what I did is the thing that I worry about most I created an affirmation that's the exact opposite. So I often think I'm not enough. This isn't good enough. No one thinks I'm enough. And shifted that to I am enough. So I want you all to think about what is that affirmation and mantra. And I challenge you to use the 3 P's: positive, present, and personal. Those are my 3 for affirmations. So it has to be positive. You can't say I'm not good, because that not still registers in our brain and we still think of it as negative. So it has to be positive. It has to be personal. You have to say, I am, my body, my spirit. It has to be about you. And it has to be in the present. Sometimes we're like, I will be good enough in the future, or I will be a great person. Even if you don't believe it right now, speak it into existence. Say it positively. I am enough. And that refrain, we hear that in our heads, and that creates new neural pathways, right? That digs bigger trenches is the best way I can think of it, to create connectivity that we are enough. So yeah, start to think about what is it: positive, present, and personal. Okay, and think of an affirmation. It can be a word, it can be a phrase that really sustains you, and you can kind of craft it to these sessions. So in the chat, I'm saying I am abundant, I am whole and complete, I am enough. Yes, please borrow and use that. We are enough. Such beautiful things happening in the chat right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a guided meditation its roots are in ACT, which is acceptance commitment therapy, which is what I have used. I used to work in an adolescent inpatient psychiatric unit doing poetry therapy for kiddos, and I use this a lot. So this is called a compassion meditation. So all you have to do is listen to my voice or watch the captions, and I'm gonna guide you through this. So get into a place where you feel comfortable. If you want to close your eyes, you're more than welcome to, but you don't have to at all. And your only job is to listen and to imagine. So I want you to engage in your soothing rhythm of breathing. Get in tune with the rhythm of your breath. And when you're ready, imagine a color that you associate with compassion, or a color that conveys a sense of warmth and kindness. This might only be a fleeting sense of a color, but when you're ready, imagine that compassionate color surrounding you. And if you have your affirmation and mantra, whenever we talk about this color, think about that mantra. I belong. I am worthy. I am enough. I am okay. So I want you to imagine this color entering through your heart area and slowly coming over your entire body. You can think of this color like a mist or a light that flows through you. As this happens, try to focus on the color and your affirmation as having wisdom, strength, and warmth, and the key to quality and total kindness. If you can, create a facial expression of kindness as you feel this color wash over you. Now, as you imagine this color and affirmation flowing through you, focus on the feeling that this color and affirmation are solely here to help you, to strengthen you, to support you. If any blocks or barriers arise, ideas that you don't deserve this kindness in any way, just recognize these are distractions and go back to focusing on your compassionate color and your mantra. Don't worry if your distractions feel overwhelming at times. When they come up, just gently smile to yourself and go back to the soothing rhythm of breathing. Notice in your body where you feel the color or the affirmation the most. Might be in your chest, your stomach, your head. Try and pinpoint where you feel the most warmth, the most safety, the most security. I want you to lean back into your breaths. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes or return back to the present moment with me. Thank you all so much for going through that guided meditation. So that is the compassion color meditation. It is so helpful for me specifically because when you have that color or you have that affirmation, you don't need me or facilitator to do the work anymore, right? You can just think about that color. You can think about that affirmation and imagine that warmth and that security and that wisdom being with you forever, really. My color is a lime green mist. My affirmation is I am enough. And truly, in difficult times, I think about this green mist over my body that's kind of glowing, and that can already calm myself down. So as we move through these different sessions today, really think about that color. Call back to that color and how it can support you, how it can provide love, even in those moments of discomfort or challenges, which probably will arise. Think about those affirmations. Think about that color, that compassion, which leads me to talk about kind of my last aspect of self-care, which is joy. It is joy and it is happiness. Resistant joy, Imani Perry, does a beautiful job of illustrating this, as well as Pleasure Activism by Adrienne Marie Brown. Both are excellent, incredible reads, but it really focuses on the fact that being joyous is resistance. Like, joy is protest. It is important as we enact social change, as we are activists, as we fight for justice. We also need to be happy. And I'm going to speak very specifically from a Black woman's perspective. As a marginalized person, we are not supposed to be happy, right? There are systems set in place to make sure that we are not happy. There's redlining, there's racism within the healthcare system. There are all of these things that continually work to make sure we're not happy. And we get to be happy, right? So as much as we are fighting and we are doing this work and we are out here, we also get to find joy. We get to eat a delicious sandwich and love it. We get to watch a Netflix show and enjoy it. We get to hang out with our families. We get to pet our dogs. I think often with, self-care, it's like recovering from something intense. That's often how we've categorized it, when in fact, it can also just be adding to happiness and joy, right? Like, us smiling and being happy is revolutionary, right? Like, it is absolutely fantastic that we get to laugh and we get to smile and we have these opportunities to take care of ourselves. And so think of self-care not as just, oh man, I have to do this. I have to drink water. I have to do these things, but as a happy thing of like, yes, make it exciting, whatever that is. I know some people put like little lines on their water bottles. Do whatever it does, whatever it takes to make yourself happy in these moments, right? Because self-care, yes, is about filling up our cups, but it's also about sustaining us, right? Of like making sure that we can make it through the day, that we can be happy, that we can express ourselves fully. And the beautiful thing about humanity is that we can hold both, right? We can hold the anger and the power and the passion and the justice, and we can hold the love and the joy and the resistance, and both are valid, right? both are valid. So today, and kind of as we move through this world, we'll have these moments of like, yes, I am fired up. I am ready to do this work. I'm ready to make change. And we also might have moments of like, wow, that was super funny, or like, I'm having a great time. The music is awesome. Like, lean into all of the ways that you find self-care. I know many people were talking about the music that was put on earlier, and that's also self-care, of just like sitting for a moment and being like, yo, this song is dope. I love it. That's great, right? Like, I'm even happy because that music was dope. But find the ways that fill you up, right? That make you happy. And that's gonna spill over. That's gonna spill over into our communities, into our families, into our work. And it's important. And guess what? Your cup can have glitter in it. It can have slime in it. It can have Diet Coke in it if that's what you like, but whatever it is that fills you up, right? We don't have to kind of stick to these narratives of water. Whatever it is, make it happy, make it beautiful, make it authentic for you, right? Because as much as we are working to dismantle systems, we have to decolonize our own minds, right? Of like what we think is self-care, what we think is appropriate or culture or happy or joy, and really leaning into what's authentic for you. What do you consider beauty? What do you consider self-care? What is right? What is normal? What validates your identity and who you are? Because all of this, right? Race, equity, inclusion, talking about systems, really naming these things is also self-care, right? We also have to talk about it. And so I'm so grateful for this opportunity and this entire event that's been put together, because we're naming it, we're talking about it. And for so many of us, that's self-care. For so many of us, we haven't been able to say, hey, this is happening in the workplace. Hey, this is the racism that I've experienced. Hey, here is the transphobia. And so actually saying it and having other people listen, that's the deep work, the deep, deep self-care. And so what I charge you all with is to remember your mantra or your affirmation. That can change. You can designate that for different spaces, different days, different events, and that color. And just recognize that color, that affirmation, in any ways that you provide self-care is a way for you to be kind to yourself, to show compassion, to be resistant with joy, and to fill yourself up so that you can overflow to your community and make that change, right? Because change happens on a macro level and on a micro level, interpersonally. So your self-care will inevitably change other people's lives just as much as it changes yours. So I want to thank you all so much for this opportunity and for being able to talk about self-care. I have been Ashley Cornelius, and I just hope that you all are feeling renewed, restored, and are ready to attend all of the amazing sessions that are coming up.
Ashley, thank you so much. Wow. There was a question in the chat. Where'd you get your earrings?
Oh yes. If you don't mind, lean in. I made these earrings. So I make earrings. My shop is on Instagram at Big Bang Jewelry. So you can go there, and I make all kinds of unique styles that are statement pieces. And then I have some social justice lines of earrings around Pride and around Black Lives Matter. So take a look and see if you like anything.
I just put your contact in the comments again. The names of the books mentioned, Pleasure Activism is by Adrienne Marie Brown. The other book, Imani Perry has a book called Breathe. That's a really beautiful book. Letters to My Son, I believe. Actually, Imani Perry and Kiese Lehman have a really great Q&A together, who was an author I referred to yesterday. That's a tangent. But yes, no, thank you for today. Thank you for this reminder. I love that you talked about colors, because I find my compassion color, and it happens to be yellow, which is why you will all see me in yellow throughout this week. So I'm glad you named that. And that's one of the things we can do, right? We can pick a color that makes us feel good. And that's a small act of self-care that we can do each day. And these joining in this session was an act of self-care. So I'm grateful to you all 400 and some of you that showed up for yourselves today, this morning, and I'm excited to see you in the rest of the sessions. I put the contact information for folks for you here in the chat. So yeah, thank you again. And Ashley will also be sticking around for the end of day self-care. And so she will be grounding us out as well. So definitely look forward to that, which is very exciting. We're grateful that you're going to be starting our day with you and ending it. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I'll let the comments keep coming in so you can read a few of them, and then we'll close out the session in the next minute or two. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close it on out. And if folks would like to continue sending you praise, feel free, y'all, to copy and paste that really quickly to a different browser, to a Windows document, so that you can either email her, hit up her Instagram, both of her accounts on her website. And then we'll see you later today.
Yes, thank you.
Take care.